Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sea Live podcast. My name is Sam. As always, we've got our trusted friend and podcast sidekick, Mr. Chris Vance. How you doing, mate?
Hey, how are you, Sam?
Do you know what? It's the most nervous I've been for any of these.
Hey, what's on your cap?
Well, it's a New York Yankees, so I don't know how well it's going to go down with our guest this evening. But before we get on to our guest, please go and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On Facebook, we are at Sea Live. On Twitter, we are at Sea Live Ends1. And on Instagram, we are Sea Live UK. Oh, I'm so nervous. I love it though. Guys, what can I say about our guest for this week? He's been catching cheating spouses and serves as the chief detective on the hit reality TV show Cheaters. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Detective Daniel Gomez. Yeah!
Hey!
How's it going, guys?
Oh, we're doing... listen, I said to you off air, I am absolutely nervous because I grew up watching Cheaters. I grew up watching you and the crew there and, Joey as well. It's just unbelievable to have you on the Sea Live podcast this evening. So thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
No problem, gentlemen. I'm glad to be here with you.
So
that's amazing.
It's just amazing. Chris, I can't get over it.
It's a coup for us, but I've got to ask you first, Danny. How's life with COVID in Dallas?
It's tough. Texas, part of the United States, and Dallas is like one of the bigger cities in Texas, and we've had some problems here. But the count's going lower. People are starting to pay attention and wear their mask. I wear my mask all the time. I wear this mask all the time.
Hey, we love it.
So as long as you're wearing, that mask usually gets me in trouble when I walk into a grocery store. But overall, if you're wearing your mask, you're going to be okay. Just wash your hands.
And has it affected, obviously, in England, just being decimated with COVID and work? Right. Has your work suffered a lot?
I'm sorry.
Has your work suffered quite a lot with the COVID?
No, not. It did in the very beginning when it was mandatory and then everybody staying home. Business dipped, but when they started opening up like 50% and letting people out, and a lot of times when people cheat, they're involved. Lots of people were involved in a relationship before COVID hit, so they have to continue their relationship. So as soon as they gave a little break saying you could get out after that, business started skyrocketing again. people just can't stop.
They went feral. That was the.
It's quite challenging.
I've got to ask you because we know what you do. We'll get onto that a little bit later. But how did you get involved in detective work? What was it? Something you always wanted to do?
No, I was in law enforcement before. I was in law enforcement, and then transferred over. I just wanted to do something different, and I really enjoyed being a private investigator because as a private investigator, I work for you. Okay, not anybody else. A police officer, you're there for the public. And sometimes you don't get appreciated for what you really do. But if I'm working for you and I save your livelihood, you're never going to forget me forever. And we're friends forever. And I really enjoy making those relationships with my clients. And I have clients now just call and text me just to see how I'm doing, or they refer me new clients just because, I've done this for almost 23 years now. So I kind of know what I'm doing now, Every once in a while, I get something strange, but most of the time I know what I'm doing.
And is every case you get now different, or is it all cheating?
I get some different things sometimes. I mean, sometimes I just get people that like to disappear, don't come home, and sometimes they're out gambling, sometimes they're out, drinking. Sometimes they're not always cheating, but lots of times when you don't come home and you start disappearing, then people start thinking you might be doing something like that. And that's when you need to investigate and find out what's going on. But it's not everything I do is cheating. I catch parents that haven't paid their child support in 20 years. I catch people that are work injuries, say they go to work and they decide they don't want to work anymore, so they claim what they call workman's compensation. They don't go to work. So I do a variety of different things.
Oh, right. So it's quite, yeah. So you've got a massive broad, well, I suppose in your game, you've got to do as much as you can.
Yeah. Yeah. But
And
I specialize in catching cheaters. I love that.
is that the most fun part of your job then?
I like catching cheaters, but I like catching the women cheaters because I've been cheated on before. So I know what it's like.
And then obviously your steps now would know back then what you were looking for.
Yeah, because when I got cheated on 10 years ago, I had the gut feeling, I was losing sleep and lost my appetite, and I was up all night wondering if my fiance was cheating on me, and she was, and I had to investigate myself and find out she was cheating.
You had to investigate it yourself?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what were
She was beautiful too. Yeah.
So what were there like any signs for you personally that you thought actually something's wrong here?
Yeah. And it's funny you say it, because she was. It was just like, it was one evening, and I'll tell you real quick. One evening, I was supposed to pick her up from work, and she said, "Oh, that's okay. I'm going to catch a ride home tonight." And I go, "On a Friday night, I always pick you up." And then didn't happen again. I said, "You know what? Okay, I feel kind of crazy. Like I think he's cheating on me, but I don't know." So I had to investigate my own case and find out, and caught her cheating with the guy, and got my engagement ring back, and called it quits.
Wow.
So you, because obviously in your game you've got to follow people, haven't you?
Right.
And that must have been quite difficult, I think. As a personal case, that must have been quite hard to do, I think.
Yeah, it was very, very tough because I was emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
That's why I tell my clients, I said, "You're emotionally attached. So you're looking crazy right now. Hire me, we'll work as a team, and we'll go catch this person cheating." But when you're emotionally attached, you lose sleep, you can't focus, and you want to know so bad who it is. And it'll drive you nuts. It really will.
Hey.
But I caught her. So
Hey!
one for the guy. One for the guys.
Did you have your obviously you did you have your cheaters cup as you confronted her with you?
No, heck yeah. I wish I would have, but I wish I could have brought the whole crew and got her. But no, it was just kind of one of those things. It was kind of like a spur of the moment, and I saw the opportunity to catch her, and I caught her, and she had no excuses. I mean, it was done and over with. And
bang. We say in England, bang to rights.
There you go. Okay, I like that. Yeah, you gotta. It's sometimes when you've been involved with somebody so long, it's so hard to let go, but you got to let go. You gotta let it go.
Yeah.
Very, very hard.
So obviously you were obviously a cop, as we say, and then you got into this. How long were you a cop for then?
10 years.
Right. Okay. And you obviously always knew that you'd further your career in some other way, or
right. I always knew I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Law enforcement is great. I loved it, but at my 10-year mark, things started changing. Law started changing. The appreciation for police started changing, and I just went a different route, and just felt that was best for me. And I really enjoy what I do now. I really get appreciated for what I do. But you even look now. I'm sure law enforcement over there, where you're at, it's harder for law enforcement to do their job.
Yeah.
And now there's cameras, there's everything now. They don't want you to really. Sadly say they really don't want you to. They want you to find ways to solve it without using any kind of force, and that's the tough part.
What was the craziest moment you experienced as a cop? I bet there was a few.
I think my craziest moment was I can say this now. I couldn't say this back then. I was driving, and I was next to this car at a red light, but I had run the tag.
Yeah.
And then my dispatcher says, "Is our car occupied?" And I said, "Yes." And but the car was parked next to me, to the left of me. So we're both at the red light together. And I look at the guy, and it's a young kid driving.
Yeah.
And then the dispatcher goes, "Is that car occupied?" I said, "Yes, it is." I said, "Start me some cover." They go, so I was by myself. He's by himself. And I go, I got to make a decision real fast, and this guy's going to get away. So I turned my music up on my car and act like I was listening to some music. I was like, yeah, like that, right? And then as soon as I moved my car up just a little bit, and as soon as the light turned green, I threw my car right in front of his. I jumped out, pointed my gun at him, and said, "Freeze." And he said, I said, "Got him in custody." Boom. My sergeant showed up. He asked me, he goes, "Why is your car parked like this?" I go, "That's probably not a question you want me to answer." He goes, "I don't want to know. Take him to jail. That's it." So it was quite a challenge, but I had to take advantage of it. But right now you probably couldn't do that. No. But back then I just I threw my car right in front of his, jumped out, pointed my gun at him, and said, "Freeze, mother trucker."
Mother trucker.
And he's like, and then went like that, and then arrested him and put him in jail. So there was ways of doing things back then, but you can't do like that anymore.
He was obviously wanted then if he came through the dispatch, yeah.
Right.
Hey, look at the merch.
The little cheaters come.
We've got to throw in the merch there, guys. We've got to do it. There you go.
So you came out, you finished as a cop for 10 years, and then became a private investigator. And then next minute, you're on the set of Cheaters.
Right. Yeah, so what happened was I was doing just some local advertising here in the Dallas area, and this gentleman by the name of executive producer from Cheaters called me. Mr. Goldstein had called me, and he was thinking about putting a TV show together. And I said, he goes, "Do you want to help us out? We need a licensed detective to do that." And I said, "Sure, I'll help you guys out." And so I worked them for like 2 years. And then I started in 1998, and then the year 2000, they started airing the show actually in Germany. And they started airing the show in Germany. And then from what I understand after that, the show got picked up here in the United States at 3:00 in the morning. And then it started airing at 10:00 in the morning. Next thing you know, we've been on 20 years now. Year 2000 it started airing in the United States. So it's and we're shooting right now. So
it's still going to this day, which is incredible that people still tune in every week for the show. It's captivating because it's true stories, like, and the reactions are so real. It's it's just amazing. It's just amazing.
Well,
so
someone asked me once. They go, "Well, because you as a person never know how you're going to react until you're in that situation."
Yeah.
And so people react differently. I have some people that catch their spouse cheating, they don't say anything. Some of them get violent, some of them don't. Some of them just, want to let them know that they see them with the other person. So you don't ever know how you're going to react until you're in that situation. You really don't. And lots of the clients, about 75% of them, go back to the person anyway and give them another chance.
Yeah, because you always have the little video at the beginning, like, "Oh, he's cheating," and then next minute, it's all fine.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I saw Cheaters, I was in university or something, or college, and you'd come home from a night out, and you'd have a few drinks and all, and you'd have your, and it'd be on the telly in the middle of the night in England, and then that's how you watch it, and then they put the shows on in the day. I think it was on CBS over here.
I don't know what
reality. Yeah, it was on one of them.
Yeah, it was on. Well, here in Dallas, it's on CW33, but depending on what station group picks up the show will depend on what station it airs on. Or you might be watching reruns. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the rerun. Yeah, because I think the show over here got its big name with Joey Greco as the host, and and some of those moments, sort of the early 2000s,
those are the best shows.
They were feral. Yeah. And he got stabbed. Didn't he get stabbed?
Right. That was the very beginning. Actually, we had Tommy Habeeb was the original host.
Yeah.
Then we had Joey Greco, and then we had Clark Gable, and now we have somebody by the name of Peter Guns. and that's went through 4 different hosts. But Joey's been through a lot himself, but he's recovered and he's back right now. From what I understand, he's selling high-end real estate in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So he's still out and around. We're still friends.
It's all right for some.
Yeah.
And with Joey Greco, it was the sincere, we'll sort it out kind of voice. As some woman's crying in the van. Oh, it's terrible.
Well, no, it's funny you said that because Joey had a very, 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 very. He would always use like a big word, and like if somebody was crying, like you said, and then he'd ask the other person, what does infidelity mean to you, or something like that. He'd be real soft about how he had a really soft voice, and or what does monogamy mean anything to you, or something like that. And then the people would look at him like, "What the hell you just say? What are you talking about?" So Joey had a very, very smooth way of getting the point across, and he did a really good job of that.
Because there was always that moment when they're in the van, it's on. You've obviously made the call. They're in this bar, right? And then they're in the van, and everything's getting ready, and it's that anticipation of it going. What's gonna happen? And you must have in moments, because I could imagine like what is gonna happen, what is gonna be the action.
Right, and that's part of it also because the host, when the crew, I'm inside already waiting for the crew to get there.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they get there in time to catch the cheater, because sometimes they leave. Things like that happen. So most of the time they get there in time, but I was like, "Where are you guys? How long is it gonna take for you to get here? We'll be there in 20 minutes. Hurry up, get her now." So it's and then that's the hard part sometimes.
On the flip side, though, sorry, Chris. On the flip side, have you ever got it completely wrong? Like you were following someone. Go on. Sorry, Dan.
I'll tell you what happened to me. One time, I had the crew. We're near a lake out here in a city called Rockwall, and I told the crew, I said, "Okay, they're cheating right here. Get ready." And I said, "All right." So the whole crew was like behind the bushes, and then we jumped around like to get them, and they were gone. And they were gone, and they looked at me and they go, "Gomez, where'd they go?" I go, "I don't know." "Well, go find them." I was like, "All right, put everybody back in the van. So let me go find them, and I'll call you back." But they're around this lake somewhere, and what I do is I had to go and find them again. But they were sitting at a bench, and then we went around the corner to get them, because when the whole crew comes through, they have to get set up, make sure their mics are ready and everything else. And we went around the corner, they were gone, and I was on the hot seat because I was like, "Man, I don't know where they went to, but I know they're here somewhere." "Hi, how are you?" I said, "I know they're here somewhere, but we'll catch them cheating here in just a few minutes. Stay tuned."
That's swimming off into distance. That's the.
Yeah, I was a little embarrassed, but they didn't show that part on TV though. But I was like, "I'm sorry," they were just looking at me like, "Where'd they go, Gomez?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'll find them.
Because I've seen episodes where you've been following them for days, and the guy who says over what's happening, and there's times when you feel like, oh, they're not actually cheating, but then an extra day of following, something's going on.
Well, we usually get the kind of the format of the show is we got to catch them cheating at least 3 different times, and if we can't get that, then we don't have a show.
Right. Okay. Right. So it's got to be 3 separate.
Yeah, and then on the 4th time, that's when the crew comes in. So those cases take a month, 2 months, and if we can't figure it out, we'll just there won't be any kind of confrontation.
Yeah, because it must take a long time to catch one individual cheater, mustn't it? It's not.
Well, and that's what it comes to, because I've got to interview the client that submits a case to the show. I got to interview them and discuss them and make sure they got the fine points that I need to execute the case as quick as possible. And because sometimes it's not that easy.
Is it always he or she is disappearing overnight? That must be the first one.
Yeah, I mean they disappear. I was working on a case yesterday at 6:00 in the morning. So people don't always cheat at night. They cheat during the day, at nighttime. It all just depends. and you can't ever gauge on when someone's going to cheat. That's why you got to investigate the case.
You think, well, has it increased over lockdown, your amount of cases that you're getting? Obviously, because everyone's indoors.
It went down for a while, but, people are human. They got to get out sooner or later, right? And then, of course, they got to go out and play. So,
yeah, definitely.
That's why I'm here.
Well, obviously, you've had different presenters over the show over the years, and the last kind of series I saw was Clark Gable Jr., who sadly is no longer with us, which is a shame.
Right.
Which is a very sad story. But he looked like he embraced it quite well. He got involved.
Yeah, he started around the edges because he was a little bit young. But after that, he picked up and did really, really well with the show. I mean, he did really good. He was really coming together, and I really miss him. He's a really good guy.
It's a very sad story, and obviously he's famous grandfather, great grandfather, I think it was involved in then. And yeah, he seemed to, as you say, he got fully involved, and then he got very sincere. With you said Joey used big words. He was a bit more sincere in the back of the van when they're driving up to the to catch them. He was real sincere. He's very tall. He's like 6'4". Wow, he's a very tall guy. Yeah, he's very, very tall, but very, very nice, very gentleman, and was very, very good with our clients. And out of all the guests, what would you say? Or out of all of the people,
clients.
What their clients? That's the way.
Yeah.
What's the craziest moment you've been part of in the history of your cheaters career?
It was in the very, very beginning. We had one of our, I think this is probably our craziest episodes. Now, I did one where I dressed up as a clown a long time ago. And have you seen that one?
No.
I went up as a clown, and there's a circus here in Dallas, and they had me. It was my idea. We knew he was going to the circus with his friends, but I knew he was lying. I knew he was going with this girl. So I suggested to the producer, I said, look, why don't I dress up like a clown and go undercover at the circus? And I actually hired a professional clown to work with me. And he dressed me up. And remember, like I said at the beginning, the hardest part is getting them out together and getting the crew there in time, right? So this clown started making balloons and hearts and all kinds of stuff like that. And I called the crew and said, get here now, let's get them. And the good thing is the circus let out, and people thought we were real clowns. I mean, well, we were real clowns, and we just mixed in with the crowd. And he started making balloons, and the crew got there, confronted him. The place went nuts. It was crazy. I mean, it was so good. The case was so good. I made it to a show called The Soup. You ever heard of that before? It's on the E! Channel a couple of years ago. A guy named Joel McHale is the host of it. And they flew me down there to be in Hollywood because the show was at I guess great. I don't know, but they enjoyed it a whole lot. Yeah.
See, that's Sam's probably can relate with that because he hired me. He thinks I'm a bit of a clown.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's worked out, Chris. It's worked out. We've got the chief detective on this evening.
I can't believe balloon animals. So that's. We were talking the other night when we had a little chat. What happened with the case of the nudist camp?
Oh, yeah, I was now privately, it's one of the craziest things I've ever been involved in. I was hired to go to work on a case in Tampa, Florida. And it's a little city there. I won't mention the name exactly because you'll probably figure it out. But it's a city like a suburb of Tampa. And my client had hired me to follow her husband, who is retired. And he was going to this particular, it's like a bar near, it's like a local bar. If you're a local, you could go to this bar. But she goes, I know he's going here, and I think he's taking a woman here, so I'm going to put you here. It's like a hotel. I said, okay. And so I went there, and she goes, it's kind of a nudist resort. Don't worry about it. I said, a what? a nudist resort. I said, you mean naked people running around? She goes, yeah. I was like, okay, all right. She goes, you'll be here for like 3 days. You'll catch him. And I'm like, okay. So, at first I was like, man, this is going to be great. We'll see a bunch of naked women, right? So She didn't tell me that everybody there was retired. So, I mean, when I first got there, I looked and I saw a man riding a bike,
Oh,
you know, like overly tan with no clothes on and his ding dong flapping back and forth. And I go, what? And then I saw some guy jogging. He had like a little net around his thing, you know, and then I saw a woman, you know, running around, and I was like, what? Where am I? Well, what is this? And it was very, very hard on the eyes. And I had to go look for this guy at the pool one day, and I was kind of afraid to take my clothes off, you know, because there was just a lot of retired community was there, overly tanned. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. And at one point, there was a hot tub there. And, you know, in a hot tub, how many people can you fit in there? Maybe.
what? 6?
6?
Yeah.
It was stuffed with maybe 10 to 15 people. And
Wow.
I walked by there, and they go, "Hey, come on in, come join us." I said, "Nah, I don't think so. I'll pass." Okay, cool. Then I went to have like a little lunch bar. I went to eat lunch, and everybody is there just sitting there eating with no clothes on. And I was like, man, should I take my towel off or should I leave it on? I don't know. You know, it was kind of a weird environment, very challenging.
And we got to ask, did you get fully involved?
Well, no, I did not take everything. I did not go full commando, but because you know, I mean, because you know the women were looking. There's a lot of single women there too, you know. So I was afraid, you know, one of these retired women might try to hit on me or something, you know. So I was trying to. And I was there to work.
Where are you going to keep your detective gear to find all these people if you've got them?
I always got to keep my detective gear a secret, right? I can't let the camera out.
Oh, where'd you keep your gun? That's the first.
Yeah, I gotta keep that gun secret.
And did you catch them? Did you get them?
Yeah, I caught him. Actually, I caught him. He was having an affair with this massage therapist, and I caught him. It actually went down on Valentine's Day.
Wow. There's been some crazy, obviously, with the cheeses when you use that. I always remember some certain ones. I remember it was like a haunted house, and they were in the haunted house, and it just went off big time outside. Yeah. There was always a laundry. Someone's doing the laundry. Why were you having an affair in a laundry? I don't know. It's just,
well, see, and that explains for people. When people cheat, they got to make time for the other person. So his excuse, the person was excused. Let's go do the laundry and meet the person over there.
So it's, yeah. And I tell you, one of two of the craziest moments that I remember in Cheaters was, I don't even remember it. There was a guy on the back of a pickup truck with a horse's head on, a rubber horse's head. And they caught him, you caught him in the act with a rubber head.
That was like 2004 or 5 or something like that.
That was the crazy. Joey.
You were watching for a while, Chris.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I used to come home from uni, I had a few beers. That was Joey Greco. And I have to say, the first time I remember actually tweeting you about this, and I think that's the first time I ever spoke to you. I remember someone pulled a gun on Joey Greco, and you took it off him.
No, that was Clark.
Was that Clark?
I think it was Clark.
Was it Clark?
Yeah, I think it was Clark Gable.
Someone pulled a gun, and you apprehended him and took gun off him in like 2 seconds.
Yeah, because there's a way, like, and I learned this a long time ago, that the closer you can get to a person, like from a side angle, you can actually, as long as you can hold the barrel of the gun and flip it like this, you can take it out of their hands. And then I kicked them in the balls at the same time.
You kicked them.
Yeah, so that's why I remember that. Who was that? Was that Greco? Or, I think it was Clark.
It might have been.
Yeah, it was Clark. Yeah, but the guy had pulled out a gun, and I said, "Hey, man, just relax. Let me talk to you for a second. Let me talk to you." And I got closer to him, and I just did that little number, and then kicked him.
Yeah, and then he wasn't.
Then he went down.
He did go down. But I suppose when you're on something like that, you just don't know how people are going to react.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
And that's
who you walk up on.
Yeah, because you're basically rumbling someone in the act. They're not gonna like it, are they? Do you know what I mean? So they're gonna react in certain ways. And when he did pull the gun, wow, it was It was a moment.
Yeah, it was very, very, very scary moment. But we took the gun away, and I'm sure he was sore the next day.
And his pride. That was the.
And his pride.
So,
Yeah.
what does Daniel Gomez do in his downtime? Obviously, you've got all these cases going through your brain. What does, take the badge off of an evening, sits down on the couch? What does he tune into on the TV or on Netflix?
I like to watch. I like to watch on Netflix. I like to watch a lot of the shows involving the cartels and stuff like that. I'm always interested in how they move the drugs back and forth and how big the networks are and things like that. I like to watch old movies. I was telling I like to watch old movies. I like to watch because they're good movies. Now they're kind of like they're all CGI, so nothing's really made like they used to back in the day. But I like watching old movies, and when I'm off, I like to drink some mojitos. Mojito is one of my favorite drinks. I like to just sit by the pool, listen to a little music. I listen to all kinds of music. I was telling Chris the other day, I listened to Elvis, the Beatles. I still love the Beatles. It's one of my favorite groups. I listen to all rap music. I listen to everything. It all depends what I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, because I saw that you posted the other day, Elvis. It was an anniversary of his. Was it his anniversary of his death? Yeah. Was it?
Right.
The other day,
right.
And Elvis is probably he never made it to England. Elvis. He actually landed once, I think, to fill the jet up in Scotland, which is the top of Great Britain, and that was it. And he touched down for 30 minutes, and he never actually played a show.
Do you know why?
No.
His manager, Colonel Parker, didn't have a green card. He was. That's why, and I learned that later on. That's why he never traveled to. He wanted to go to Japan and other countries. He never went out of the country because his manager, Colonel Tom Parker, didn't want him to go because he didn't have a green card. He was an immigrant, and he was afraid that if he went across the border, he wouldn't be able to come back.
Right, because he came out the army, didn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously he got himself a film career and a song career, but there was always that in because we're from Liverpool, as you know, and the Beatles and Elvis. It never really happened. They met once, and it never really. They didn't really get on. I think John Lennon. I don't know how true it is. May have said something that he didn't like, which is typical John Lennon, and which is there's a picture of him up there, Danny.
Yeah, I see it.
There's a bit, and apparently that was it. That they only met for a couple of hours.
Yeah, and they sang. That was it. That was all.
And it was gone. So, but the Beatles were a big influence when they came over to America. Obviously, they Shea Stadium and they toured a lot. But there's a couple of films about the touring years of the Beatles now in America, and they were one of the first kind of bands from England who said you can't segregate the crowds anymore.
Right.
We're not playing it unless the crowds are unsegregated. And it was a big thing, I think, at the time to have the black and white in the same
together.
And I think that's very heavily influenced in the documentary, the touring years, and I think that's just it's madness how that could. But the
I like the Beatles cartoon. The Yellow Submarine.
Oh yeah.
I've always been a big Paul McCartney fan. I think one of my favorite songs is called "Live and Let Die" or something like that, right?
Yeah. From a very good film as well. We have the 007 over here.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Potentially like 007 of Texas, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes. I am the 007 here in Dallas, Texas. That's right. And it's funny you say it. It's because, sometimes you have to, when you're working and you're in a undercover capacity, you have to be almost like these guys are on Mission Impossible or 007 and stuff like that. You have to be ready. You got to be covert and be dressed nice, but you got to be ready for action when action goes down. And that's just the way it is.
And does it go down a lot? Do you see a lot of action?
It does go down a lot. I always tell my clients that, look, I'm not going to blow my cover, but if it's time for the $1 million shot, look out, get out of my way, because I'm going to get it.
Wow.
You just got to just do it.
Well,
the way it goes.
you're a famous face in obviously Dallas, and you've got billboards with your face on. We've seen.
Right. I need to put my sunglasses on.
Look at that. We have got it. We've got the shot.
That's what you need to start dressing like, Sam.
I need some aviators, don't I? Look, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Look, have you ever been on a case, and you obviously you've got a well-known face in Dallas, and has anyone thought, oh, Jesus, Danny Gomez is in the bar, right? Go, he recognized you.
No, it's funny you said I was at a restaurant. I don't know about, this is a cheaters case. I was at a restaurant called Applebee's. I don't know if you've ever heard of that or not, but but it's really popular here in the Texas area. It's like a little convenience restaurant, and I'm in there, and I had just gone to the men's room to wash my hands, and I'm coming out, and somebody goes, Detective Gomez. And I go, and I said, that was a friend of mine from high school. And she was there with her family having a little birthday party. And I go, what's going on? She goes, you tell me. And I go, dude, I didn't know you lived in this part of Dallas. I said, I don't. She goes, should we be expecting something for my birthday? I said, why don't you just have a seat in about 15 minutes? Your birthday present will be here. And then, lo and behold, the whole Cheaters crew busted in the restaurant.
Comes in.
Yeah, Gregor came in. It was crazy.
Wow.
And she goes, Danny, that was the best birthday present of my whole life. Thank you so much. I'll never forget it. So just sometimes you just never. But I have been places in the past where it's like, because I grew up in Dallas. So people know me. So if I go out, they'll go, Detective Gomez? I said, yes. What are you doing here? None of your business.
Yep.
Oh, you're working. Yes. Okay. Who are you watching? None of your business. I'll be back. I get that sometimes, but it's just sometimes you just never know where you know where you're gonna start, but you never know where you're gonna end up at.
I reckon if you walk into a restaurant, people are eating, they just heads down. Oh, he's here.
Yeah. Or walk in with like a Cheaters t-shirt or a mask or a hat, and they go, aren't you that guy? And I go, yeah, that guy. What's happening? Nothing yet, but you never know. It's a lot of fun though.
Have you ever been out of America? Have you ever been over to Europe to do a case?
No, sir. I haven't. I've never been to Europe yet. I'd like to go. And I'd like to go visit sometimes.
That should
hopefully
be a
after
show.
all this COVID.
Like Cheaters in Europe, or a Cheaters version in Europe,
Yeah.
or maybe like the US crew comes over to Europe and the same show just over in Europe or in the UK. But I think that'd be an amazing show.
I think we need to get Danny to Liverpool. You'd find a load of cheaters in here.
Oh yeah.
It's that's the kind of strange thing is like it's just happening so frequently now. It's out of control. And there's just not a whole lot. You wish you could help. You wish you could help everybody.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. Yeah.
And obviously, it must be so difficult. How many kind of cases do you take on at once? Do you have to? Is there a few, or do you case by case?
I try to do most of it by myself, but I do have a couple people that help me out on smaller cases. So I usually take on about 7 to 10 cases at a time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know what you need to do? You need to get me and Sam over to Dallas, right?
Come on down here.
And we could be the no one would suspect us.
I'll call you the international spies and come on over here.
I'm sold on this, by the way. I am literally buying a plane ticket right now. I am so sold on this.
I've only been to America. Sam, you've been to LA, haven't you?
Yeah, I had the privilege and pleasure to go over there when we did X Factor. And I was in Robin Williams' house, which was amazing. Well, not house, more mansion. And that was amazing. I also went to New York as well, so I've been to both coasts of the USA. So yeah, it's an amazing country. I love the USA.
Yeah.
I think you're either either coast for me. I'd be happy to live on either coast. But Texas is on the bucket
To do.
list, because
Come to
Texas
Dallas.
in itself is unbelievable. I think the likes of Austin for its music, for its food, Texas alone for its food is unbelievable. So I think in general, I think Texas is definitely for me on the bucket list. So I'm going to hold you to that.
I think we get there. We get there soon. We get there. I've been to New York. We went a couple of years ago. Did a little bit of a musical tour around go and find some of the famous studios and the famous buildings and that. And we went in the Rockefeller Center. And as soon as you speak, the guy who was giving me the ticket to go up to the top, he was singing Beatles songs at me and my fiance, a massive Joey Greco fan, by the way. He was singing Beatles songs for 25 minutes to us in the queue. It was just crazy. But as soon as go on, sorry.
I got a question for you guys.
Oh, here we go.
Now, how are y'all dealing with the Harry and Meghan Markle thing? How is that? Because just outside looking in, I look at an American woman who decided she wanted the fairy tale wedding, and then she gets it.
Yeah.
And then once she got it, she realized that she didn't want it anymore. So is that what happened? Is it kind of like, and how are the Europeans looking at that, saying, did she not respect the royalty, or did she not? You need to, if you want to be a royal, you need to know what you're getting into before you get into it.
Yeah,
because now she's pulled Harry out of it completely, and he's over here in the back of the United States. And so, what do you guys' thoughts on that? I'm kind of curious.
Go on, Sam. You first.
Well, from a Liverpool point of view, from a Scouse point of view, we don't really care. I mean, to be honest, we really don't really care. I mean, the general feeling towards government and the whole patriarchy is probably not what the rest of the country feels. So, to be honest, speaking from a Scouse point of view, no one really cares. But if I was putting on my European whole UK hat, I'd probably have to say people are quite, upset that, not that the royal family's being broken up. It's just the fact that it's been perfect up till now. But there's pros and cons to it. For me, we're seeing a lot more of them as a family, and I think seeing a little bit more of them is quite encouraging. Obviously, the world that we're living in now with social media, I think that barrier should be broken, especially with the royal family. I think the likes of Harry has been doing that, and Meghan have been posting baby photos and baby videos. But it's not the same. It's not the same with the people who do it technically in the royal family. Chris, what's your take on it?
Well, I don't mind the Royals, if I'm honest with you, and I'm from Liverpool. But I don't know. I think the history of the monarchy. I think there was a king who married an American. I forget who it was, and then he absconded, and that was it. Love. But I don't think he cheated, which was good. But
yeah, that's right.
I think the world's a place now where you should do it. Even if you're a royal, you should do anything that you feel happy to do. I think that's the most important. How do the royals come across in America, Danny?
Yeah, they really do. Well, the media covers them like crazy. I mean, it's like nuts. Like, oh, the royals are doing this, or Meghan's doing this, or Harry's doing this, and it's a big part of our media also, because it's always something they're talking about. But it's always bothered me, because I know there was some infidelity going on back then when Prince Charles decided to cheat on his present wife, right?
Absolutely.
Diana. And I still don't know. I see Diana, and I see the girl he's with now, and I see quite a bit difference in looks. I don't know anything about the personalities, but I usually go for the good-looking girl. So I don't know what happened there.
Well, if she had nudist resort, I'm sure you'd have walked away.
Yeah. I would have. The love gun would have come out.
Get the gun out.
Oh yeah, loaded. Yeah.
Now do like this. You're on our podcast this week. You've got your own podcast, haven't you?
Yes, I do.
And what is that? Just tell the viewers.
Well, it's on iTunes. It's called Beyond Cheaters: The Detective Gomez Files. I interview different people in relationships, some charities, but mostly in relationships, telling their stories. I did a podcast not too long ago about infidelity during the pandemic, but I always try to do different podcasts involving relationships, infidelity, narcissists, different things like that, discussing on what's going on in the world according to what I'm doing. And I try to share that information with people and try to teach them something.
And is that a weekly thing, or is it just...
It's a weekly thing, but I haven't done one in the last 2 weeks. I've been swamped with work.
Wow.
So I'll probably be doing one like tomorrow and upload it, have it up by Monday. And then I'm going to share you guys' podcast on there also. So you'll be on my podcast also.
Hey!
We're moving up in the world, Chris. We're moving up in the world.
We've now tonight. We're now going to be on the podcast, and we're actually going to become international
double O agents. I love it.
Double O agents. I'm a bit more like Sam's. I can imagine you a bit more like Sean Connery. I'm going for the Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. I always liked Roger Moore. I think he was the best.
He was my
James Bond.
I went to the evening with Roger Moore a couple of years ago, and it was one of the funniest nights I've ever experienced.
Really?
He was brilliant. He was absolutely hilarious, and he was talking about The Saint, and he was talking about 007, and he just said it was just a brilliant time of his life, and how we got into acting. But yeah, you can see that vibe going on. I reckon we'd blend in quite well, Sam.
Yeah.
Well,
get you
why don't
a tuxedo?
All we need is a little tuxedo, and you need a clown outfit, Chris, because you have to play the clown.
In one of the Bond films, Roger Moore dressed up as a clown. I think it was Oscar.
Yes, that's right. He did.
He did.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, I see. I know me Roger Moore Bond first. That's it. Now you've also got Danny. I don't know if you can say much about it. Have you got a new YouTube thing happening? I don't.
I have a new YouTube channel I put together, and basically what it is basically I've shot some episodes of me just doing work as a detective,
right?
And let people know there's other things I do just besides catching cheaters.
Right.
And I put little episodes up there on my YouTube channel. It's called The Detective Gomez, and check them out. Tell me what you think. But it's just different episodes I do because people think all I do is catch cheaters, but I like to inform people that Detective Gomez does other things besides that, and it's important for them to know that.
And have you anything new coming up that you want to promote or anything like that? Have you got anything?
Yeah. Just go to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to keep that updated now, where people can check it out. So go there or go to my website, detectivegomez.com, and I'm coming out with an online course here probably the next month or so, where I can teach people how to identify a cheater if they see one. Right. Just a video course to help people out. So that's coming up very soon.
And we were talking, me and Sam, before we obviously came there. What would you say is the three signs to a cheater? What's the three signs? Three signs.
I would say the first thing is watch the behavior. Number one. You know your person, you know the spouse, you know them. Watch the behavior. Right. Next thing is pay attention to the time. Yeah. Because when people cheat, they gotta get away from you to be with somebody else, right?
Yeah.
So they could had one case the other day where this guy was in the bathroom for 3 hours. Doing what? I don't know. So he's taking time away from his life to be in the bathroom, texting or doing something in the bathroom, right? So you got to pay attention to that, and also pay attention to the money. Where's the money going? Is the money being moved around? Things like that. So those three things I would pay attention to. Those. And then of course I'm gonna throw one more in as a bonus. The emotion at home, affection, things like that. Not being affection. If they're not being affection to you, ignoring you, getting upset a whole lot, pay attention to things like that also. And then you're on to something. And then call me.
We'll note these down for when we get our first case, Sam.
Well, how about we test it right now? Should we do it? Should we test it?
How should we test it? Should we do?
I think it's time for interrogation time.
Interrogation.
Let's do interrogation time with Chief Detective Daniel Gomez. We're gonna do some quick fire questions, if that's okay with you, before we end tonight's podcast.
Sure.
A little bit of fun. We've never done this before, so if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But there you go.
Okay.
We were deliberating what we wanted to do, weren't we, Chris? Whether it was going to be good cop, bad cop, but we just thought we were just going to ask these questions.
I wanted to be a bad cop, but Sam wouldn't let me.
Okay.
Let's go for it. So the first one we're going to go for one-word answers. I think we're going for one-word answers, aren't we, Chris? Let's go for it. Okay. So first one, we're going to go for favorite film. Obviously, more than one word. If it's more than one word.
Favorite film I love to watch would probably be Mission Impossible, the first one. I love watching Mission
Great
Impossible.
film.
I'll be back. Are you sure it's Mission?
And the second one is James Bond, 007, Roger Moore.
Yeah, we love it.
I'll be good cop there.
Go on, Chris.
Right, I'm gonna say favorite food.
Favorite food. I love some Italian food.
Ooh,
A good pizza. I love a good pizza. A good one.
Okay, pizza. Sam, what did you want to ask? Pizza.
Pineapple on a pizza, yes or no? Daniel Gomez, chief detective of Cheetahs TV.
I'll eat anything. Stick it on her. I don't care.
Oh, really? Are you sure about that?
I'll try anything once.
Pineapple?
I can't sign off a pineapple on a pizza.
I've never eaten it before, but I'll try it once. I mean, but if I don't like it, I won't eat it again. I promise you that. I've never had it, so I can't say yes or no.
It's the whole fruit argument, you know. Oh well, there's tomatoes on a pizza, it's allowed. Then pineapple must be allowed. It's just like no, it belongs in the bin or eaten just normally. Never on a pizza, please.
Okay, no pineapple. Cut it out.
Next one. You've talked about your favorite music, so favorite song, specifically favorite song.
Ooh, good one.
I will tell you this, a song that gets me going. I'm telling you, this song gets me going when I'm working all the time. Like I mentioned before, Paul McCartney, Live and Let Die. Yeah. I love that song.
Love it.
That song just,
I've got to agree.
That's what pumps me up.
You're tracking someone 2:00 in the morning, Live and Let Die, blasting on the radio. That's what you want.
It's
That's what I want.
the middle eight. I can just imagine you driving like window down, guns out, glasses on. I can just see it now. I can see it.
Oh yeah, it's
dragging him out the passenger seat.
That song puts me in. That song just gets me going all the time. All the time.
So, all right, I've got baseball or basketball.
Man, that's a tough one.
I think we've got him. I think we've got him, Sam.
He's.
I think I'm gonna say basketball.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay.
Because it's I like baseball, but sometimes the games are just too long, you know. And but basketball's a little bit shorter sport. The time frame's shorter. They have quarters. Baseball you can play all night long.
And what about football? Do you follow the Dallas Cowboys? Is it?
No, I don't. I follow this guy's right here. You know who these guys are?
Are they
Dolphins?
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins. That's who I follow.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite football team.
Actually, just on a side note, for me being from Liverpool, there are the two teams to support: Liverpool or Everton for soccer for yourself. Is there what is the allegiance in sport? Like, do you have to support your local team in the sports? Like, what's the deal with that? Because I find that quite uneasy.
Yeah, some people, depending on just who they like, most people in Dallas support Dallas, but I've always been a little Miami Dolphin fan since I was 5 years old. So I'm very loyal if I'm loyal to a team, I stay loyal good times and bad times, So some people don't like me because of that, but that's okay. I don't care.
No. Well, you're fine.
That's all right. That's all
right. Go on, Sam.
Right. You're into your cars, I believe.
You like cars?
Yes.
So,
I told you.
Are you manual or automatic?
Manual? No, automatic. I'm sorry.
Automatic.
Because when I'm working, I can't be shifting gears and throwing reverse and going around. I've got to have a manual car.
What are you driving at the minute?
Oh, it's a good question.
I'm driving a Honda Accord.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
car.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, I've got a very interesting question. Favorite president?
Oh man, that's a tough one there.
Are you gonna go historical
I'll have to-
or recent?
Historical.
I didn't know any of the historical ones personally, but
You
from what I've
can't
seen,
you can't go recent. I'm sorry.
We said
Let's just go-
we never go political on this show.
We never go political.
let's just be safe. Let's just go Abraham Lincoln. How's that?
Okay. But one thing with I forgot, and I was just having a look before. JFK got shot in Dallas, didn't he?
Right. Sure did.
Is that far from where you are?
No, it's actually about 15 minutes.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
And the grassy knoll.
On the grassy knoll, he got shot. He got shot right there.
Wow.
Grassy knoll. Yeah.
Because we were talking about Elvis and obviously Paul McCartney. It's a bit of a conspiracy theory podcast that we've had that subconsciously we've been talking about.
What McCartney shoot JFK?
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm saying we've had Elvis potentially could be still alive. Paul McCartney
Right.
potentially was killed at 21 or something. And
Oh,
the Abbey Road, he's in his feet,
Right,
meaning
right.
that he's dead. JFK being was he assassinated? Wasn't he assassinated?
He was assassinated here in Dallas, right?
Are you into your conspiracy theories at all?
I'm very interested in the JFK thing. I'm still wondering how, and I've been, as a former police officer, I've been to where Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald at, in that little,
Right.
it's like a lower parking area for the police department. And I still don't know how that guy got in there and got a gun and shot him. So I'm still wondering how Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald in front of all these police officers, and it was just the whole mayhem on how all this happened. And still now they don't really have an answer. They have an answer, but there's so many conspiracies, like the mafia was involved and all kinds of little things like that. And I'm still kind of curious myself as to what is the real truth.
And is
I think somebody knows.
the window where obviously with JFK was, they reckon he was.
Right.
Is that still the building still there and all?
Yeah, it's actually a museum now.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
And can you go in the actual room?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
When we're over there, Sam, we'll go over and recreate it and
Yeah,
see.
and you can actually walk to the grassy knoll also and
Okay.
see where there's a little fence there. It's still there, and you can look there and see where somebody could have shot him from there also.
Wow.
That's cool.
But that whole corridor right there, if you've ever been downtown before, bullets and sounds like that can ricochet off the buildings. So that's how they don't know exactly where, if it came from upstairs or it came from across the fence.
Excellent.
Unbelievable.
I will. We also. All right, next Sam, are you going to do it?
Next one, cats or dogs?
Dog.
You like your dogs? Do you own a dog?
I like dog. I used to have one. I used to have a little miniature collie, little Sheltie dog a long time ago. But I'd rather have a dog. Cats are just so unpredictable. They have good moods, bad moods, and we had one when I was a child. Some days he was nice, and some days he'd jump at you and scratch the hell out of you. So dogs just kind of more relaxed, take it easy, feed them, they're okay.
Man's
more
best
loyal.
friend. Man's
There
best
you go.
friend.
I've got 2 cats, and they drive me insane sometimes. They
Yeah.
do drive me insane. Here's a tough one. Shall I dare to ask this one, Sam?
Do it.
Okay, Danny. This is the final interrogation time question. Cheaters or non-cheaters?
In what form?
Oh, you got him.
Well, to be the bad cop, but no, just general cheaters or non-cheaters. We were saying cheaters because it keeps you in business.
Let's say this. We'll say cheaters so they keep me in business, but non-cheaters because I want a good woman in my life, right?
Exactly.
You
Hey,
don't wanna-
That's fair
We all
dues.
want-
That's fair dues. Guys, that has been the Sea Life podcast. Thank you so
Yeah.
much again,
One more.
Detective. Oh, go on, Chris. Go on.
one more thing. Can
Go
you?
on.
She's a massive fan of the show. Catherine's in the house watching. Can you shout out, hello, Catherine?
Hello, Captain.
Hey, she'll
Yeah.
be made up.
She will be made up.
Catherine. Catherine or Catherine?
Catherine.
Catherine. Hello, Catherine. How are you?
That's great. I
She's
love it.
probably screaming down the house now.
She's going, I can't believe you've got Danny Gomez on your podcast. And I said, well, I might have to go into it now and say we've been invited over to Dallas. So
Come on down.
We're doing it.
Let's go have some pizza without pineapple. How's that?
Exactly.
I love it. I love it. Guys, thank you so much. Detective Chief Detective. I keep getting it mixed up. I'm so nervous. I'm still nervous now. Danny Gomez, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers.
Chris, as always, thank you.
Yeah.
I know you're going through a lot with everything that's going on at the minute.
Busy.
Chris, so obviously lots of love to you and lots of love to Catherine as well. Danny, before we go, one last thing, did you want to plug anything? You've got YouTube, you've got the Trackers show.
Yeah, just visit detectivegomez.com and visit my YouTube channel, THE Detective Gomez. You'll find it on YouTube. Check it out, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I appreciate that.
Fantastic. Guys, that's been the Sea Live podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure that you follow us on social media, which, if I can get the tab up, is at Sea Live for Facebook. On Twitter, we are at Sea Live Enter1, and on Instagram, we are Sea Live UK. Make sure that you follow us on all of those social medias, because what I will be doing over the next couple of days is cutting up this podcast into highlight reels and posting them all on our Facebook, Twitters, and our Instagrams as well, so you can see a little condensed highlight reels of the podcast. You don't have to watch the whole thing. It's fantastic. I know, you have to sign up. Make sure you share, like, and comment. And next week we'll be back with another fantastic guest. In the meantime, stay safe out there. Good night, God bless everyone. Bye bye.